How's it going, guys? This is Jeff. I haven't really posted anything on here in a while, but I figure in the light of the new Diablo expansion, which I am so pumped about, I would come back on here and post a quick video. Just some witch doctor stuff that has been working for me. I hadn't seen any real videos on new specs or anything like that for a little while now. It's only been out for a couple days, but I was looking around the internet, and there's a couple different, things out there, except, they're mostly for just getting ready to go into it. I'm looking more towards, as you can see over here, I'm looking towards Torment 2 and 3 with this build. In no ways is like the best gear or, the best Paragon stuff, but it seems to be working fine for farming, a couple legendaries and whatnot. But yeah, you can see I got a couple cool little transmogs going on here too, but why don't we just get on into it. Unfortunately, my video card on this computer is not so hot, so I might not be able to actually go into a lot of combat detail with this, for fear of making the video not so good quality. But let's open up the skills here. We'll take a look at that, then I'll bring up my gear, and we'll go from there. Alright, so what I'm using is a build that does not require a whole lot of mana. Now, I have a couple things that give me, a little bit of mana boost. But I was noticing I had a poison bats build for farming the Hellfire Ring. And I was noticing that, the damage just isn't there. I'm running out of mana too much. So what I did was kind of take the mana out of the equation. Up at the top here, you can see I'm using Pyrogeist, Firebomb. Which is a really, really awesome ability. It gets you out of jams more times than I can even count. It's even killed bosses after I died. It's pretty awesome. But here, yeah, if you guys are watching this, you probably know what it does. But it just puts a flame jet on the ground, sort of like a turret, and it stays around for probably about 4 to 5 seconds before eventually going. But you can stack 3. So I'll show you a little bit of the actual gameplay of the build then after we talk about the skills. Second, of course, fire bats. Now, no more plague bats or clouded bats. Like I said, I noticed that they are very, very costly with mana, and because we're all getting new gear and everything like that, I'm sure other people are having mana issues too. So why don't we just take the mana out of the question? So Vampire Bats is awesome. You end up getting millions and millions of damage without even having to pay any mana, giving you more room to go into things that you see down on my bar, like the Piranhas or Fetish Army. So it's pretty awesome. Definitely want to use this. This is a staple of the build. The Pyrogeist, you could kind of get away with whatever you want. I've seen a couple different people using Spirit Barrage, but I use Pyrogeist because a couple of my pieces of gear bonus Firebomb. So anyway, into the other skills. Spirit Walk, Healing Journey. Survivability is huge if you're going to be trying to live through these mobs. I found that Healing Journey is extremely useful. I know some people like if they want more glass cannony kind of damage, Umbral Shock is very good. Also, Jaunt, I've been messing around with. It gives you a lot of sustainability, a lot of survivability there. I just like Healing Journey because when you are, say, running away from like an elite pack and they throw like an ice bomb down, you can't move, you can just pop Spirit Walk and get a little bit of that health back, probably allowing you to save your life a little bit there. All right, so next here we got Soul Harvest, Vengeful Spirit. Awesome ability. Stacks of Soul Harvest give you huge amounts of damage increase, stacking up to 5, and Vengeful Spirit is just an amp damage, so can't really complain about that. In this build, basically you just run into the crowd, Soul Harvest, Spirit Walk maybe if you want to, and then just start spamming. And then Piranhas, the new ability for Reaper. This is fantastic. If you're looking for an ability that can really get some crowd control going on when you're not really fighting those elite packs or whatever, Piranhado is probably the best Piranha thing that I've had a chance to use so far. It pulls enemies in and just destroys them. You're able to do fire bats, you're able to do pyrogeist, whatever you really want. Even do another soul harvest. So it's really awesome, and it allows you to stay close to these guys, which is important too. so you can get the benefits of your grave injustice and gruesome feast. Lastly, this is like the ult. Fetish Army, Legion of Daggers, just a lot of small targets that distract the enemy from you. Also, I've seen white hits from these guys that do over 2 million damage. It's fan-freaking-tastic. You can see I even have, the Fetish Sycophants down here too. Fantastic. I call them my little bronies because they're freaking fantastic, and they do so much white damage, so much crit damage over time. It's ridiculous. Blows poison out of the water for now. But yeah, so Fetish Army is going to be your ult then. Now you can switch Piranhas up. What I normally do for single target, switch into Big Bad Voodoo, of course, Slam Dance. It's beautiful ability. Everyone who plays Witch Doctor probably already knows about that, so I'm not going to talk about it. So here's my passives. I got Grave Injustice down here. Gain 1% life and mana, and reduce the cooldown, which is super important, especially for your Spirit Walk and Soul Harvest bombs. You can crit with Soul Harvest for 2 mil, 3 mil, easy with this ability, especially when you have the stacks of Gruesome Feast up. But fantastic. It's within 20 yards, so get a couple pieces of gear. I'm missing the Thing of the Deep. I really like that for picking up health globes and whatnot, but that's okay. This actually does pretty damn well on its own. But it also cools down your Fetish Army, which is really awesome if you can pop that more than once. All right, so second we got Gruesome Feast. Now, Gruesome Feast is a must in this build. 10% mana and int for 15 seconds, 5 times stack. Just aim for the health globes and you do glass cannon damage. It is ridiculous. With 5 stacks of Gruesome and 5 stacks of Soul Harvest, you're taking enemies down left and right, proccing all your Grave Injustice, and getting more and more globes, more and more fetishes out with the ability I'll talk to you about in just a second. Since this isn't a mana build, Pierce the Veil all day long. 20% damage increased. Who cares about the mana cost? Doesn't matter at all. Mana costs of the Piranhas, almost negligible. The only 2 things I've ever had an issue with is sometimes you get into it, if you wanted to do crowd control, you might not have enough mana at the end of that to cast Fire Bats while they're all stunned in there. But that's the only real issue I've had with it. Other than that, though, with 1046 mana, I just got an item I'll show you that gives more, a couple items actually that give more mana. So over 1,000, it's more than enough. I was using 800 some for a long time, and it worked well, except it had a little bit of an issue sometimes with mana. And then last but not least, one of my favorite abilities in this game, especially for this expansion, Fetish Sycophants. I love them. They're my bros. Summoning these guys gives you so much damage. And if you're channeling Fire Bats or you're just spamming Fire Bombs, they run in there and they tank for you. They don't die from damage. I've been hit by Diablo on Torment 3. Nothing happens. They just stand there, take his beam, no problem. Just sustained millions of damage. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful ability. And also, with your Fetish Army, it gives you a sort of like an old school necromancer kind of feel with all your skeletons. So it's pretty awesome. I've seen the Sycophants go up to maybe like 8 or 10 of them. So I haven't seen past that. But as you're damaging stuff too, I think there might be some kind of, like say you're killing a bunch of enemies. If you're just casting, normally it doesn't, like in town or something, it doesn't spawn a lot of them. But you can get like 3 or 4 before you run out, and when you're doing rifts or whatever. But when you're casting and killing stuff, that's when this really shines, because you have like 8 dudes in no time, and they're all doing millions and millions of damage. So anyway, that's my skill build. So let's pop into what I got equipped. So in no way is this the best armor set that you can have. Absolutely not. But I did just get a couple different gems and whatnot that are pretty good. I've been working on farming that stuff. But right now, strength dex doesn't matter. Int is at 842, which is pretty decent from what I've been seeing. My one buddy just got a ridiculous amount of gear that, very lucky drops. So he's a little bit ahead of me in that regard, but that's not really a huge concern. Vitality, health, whatever, 5099. make sure you get it on some pieces of your gear because you're gonna need survivability, and especially in 2 and 3. Torment 1's not so bad, but in 2 and 3 you have to be able to survive in order to kill shit. So my damage is almost at 600 unbuffed, 600k, and the crits on this are ridiculous. I'll show you um, the actual crit damage and all that stuff too in just a second here. But 600k, more than enough for what I've been doing in these. Do you have to burn them down a little bit? Yeah, but if you can stay alive and keep that burn going, those little fetishes will tank and destroy for you, man. They will tear it up. So toughness, I'm about 45 mil. Pretty good. It's very awesome to be able to survive elite packs, especially in 3. I haven't really tried anything on 4 yet, but I don't think this is enough for 4. But 2 and 3, pretty decent. Healing, another huge deal. You want to get items that have life after kill or life per hit, stuff like that. Now that the life steal is nerfed, definitely want stuff that gives you health globe life. Any way you can recover life, and this is awesome. But I'll show you a couple pieces that I got that actually enhance that a little bit. Some things I actually got pretty lucky on the roll with. But anyway, so let's go into the details. Right now, we got almost, it's a little bit lower than 1.6 attacks per second. That will immediately impact your fetish summons. So make sure if you have attack speed on stuff, make sure it stays there. You're going to want it. Your fire bats, as soon as the ability registers as being cast, you have a chance to summon one of those, and it's pretty awesome. As you can see, I have a 13% attack speed increase right now. I have the Scoundrel up, so this damage is probably a little bit lower, but for our purposes, it doesn't really matter if you're soloing stuff. So what we got? We got crit chance at 50, 51, but fantastic crit. If you can get over 50, do it. I'm telling you, these fetishes crit for 3 mil easy, 2-3 mil. I'm not sure exactly the numbers on what percentage to weapon damage they have, but it's damn near what you do. And then crit damage, I have 200% right now. You're gonna want this too. As of now, as you can see with my axe, I'll go into that later, but I have a red gem in there just for straight up damage purposes. But also, I mean, you could try out some emeralds or whatever if you wanted to give that a shot. Area damage is another amazing ability for this. If you're piranha-nadoing, if you're doing this guy and you have all your stuff up and you pull them all into an area using Firebats and Pyrogeist around them. Firebats is the best one, but Pyrogeist is good too. You are dealing a lot of area damage, it is ridiculous. You'll see stuff tick for over 1.5 mil around you, not even that you're focused on. It's worth having. Right now I have 32. I'm not sure if anyone has experimented with higher than that, but this seems to be doing pretty good. Armor, you're looking at about a 60% reduction, which is great. Definitely get high armor stuff if you're looking for survivability. But yeah, for now, I'm not sure. I haven't seen too much of what other witch doctors have, but right now this is functioning pretty well. And then you can see all my resistances are over 1,000, some of which are even closer to 1,200. Actually, it looks like 1,100, but yeah, definitely get those. This Poison Nova shit that they've put into this game is an awesome concept, but those multiply signs of death, you're gonna want resistance against. You're gonna want it. You're gonna want it for all sorts of stuff. But yeah, over 1,000 seems to be doing well, especially in 2, and then definitely in 3. So yeah, that's about all that stuff. You can see like my max life and stuff. Really, I would focus more on getting your resistances and all that other stuff, just like before, than max life. It is nice to have over 400 though. I was using about 380 a little while ago, and it was a little too squishy. Sometimes Healing Journey can't get you out of that. Spirit Walk. But life per second, really good. There's an item that gives me this. I'll show you that in just a second. Life per hit, again, really awesome in the Reaper of Souls expansion. Now that lifesteal is gone. And life per kill, 9,000 life per kill. Very good. Get this as high as you can, because you're killing a lot of stuff, and there are going to be a lot of globes around you, and you're going to want to get this. I would wish I had over 10, 12K, but this seems to be doing fine for now. But the big thing here, this globe bonus, 55,000 off every globe. Now remember, you have your gruesome feast, which gives you all the damage off globes. You're aiming for globes, and they're going to be dropping everywhere. So get as many globes as possible. That'll keep you healed up and dealing huge, huge damage. So anyway, another thing to look at is that globe radius. I don't really have a huge boost to it, but get that as high as you can too. Sometimes there's different things you can mess with enchanting. Get some extra couple yards on your stuff. I already talked to you about mana, so we don't have to worry about that. All right, so let's go into the gear a little bit. I'll show you my helm. A lot of my stuff has been either crafted or enchanted. Definitely take advantage of enchanting. It's extremely useful, extremely useful. Right now, crit hit chance 6% max, very good. And you can see it has a little bit more, but I just have the bonus experience gem in there for just getting Paragon up. But yeah, shoulders, very good as well. Resist all piranhas damage. Globes, that's the big thing. So I enchanted into globes. Crit hit, crit damage, attacks per second. Still the same. Trifecta is still very good, so get as many of those abilities as you can. Just increases overall damage and how you can kill a lot of stupid shit in one blow. So yeah, for the chest armor, not so hot, but as you can see, I got a couple of the 220 gems in there working on my next one. Very good boost to have 3 sockets in this chest. I don't know if anyone's got the set yet, but I saw one drop. It wasn't that great, but this definitely helps. I actually love this amulet. No attack speed, so it's not trifecta, but it does give you a decent amount of crit damage and crit hit. Crit hit chance on the bracers, again enchanted into a lot of defense. And I wish I could get rid of the gold per monsters, but it's whatever. It has resist, cold resist on the bottom there too. My favorite stuff, though, is the belt. This is finally what replaced the Witching Hour. I was rolling with the Witching Hour. That was really good for a long time, but this waistguard thing is awesome. The elite damage is great. Attack speed increase is great. It doesn't give you any crit damage, but I believe you can enchant it to gain some crit hit damage. But my favorite part of this, besides like the main ones, attack speed, whatever, is that life after each kill bonus. Very, very useful, especially for surviving these higher levels of Torment. Pants, nothing too fancy here. Just I got a resist gem in there, 160. And you can see I mentioned earlier with the firebomb damage boost. I have a couple that do firebomb and a couple that do fire bats. So if you can get that, get it. It just gives you more damage. My favorite stuff, though, are my rings here. These guys are fantastic. This drop for me, it is a huge tanky ring. Plus, it gives you 11% area damage, which is beautiful. When you're spamming all your stuff, area damage rocks. The ability is really, really good. I haven't died a whole lot with just regular mobs. Sometimes white mobs will surround you, but it helps you as a witch doctor. You don't want to just fight one thing at a time. So if you can, pull elite packs into groups, because as you kill them, you just get more powerful. And then the puzzle ring, pretty good. I want to enchant this to get the gold off there, but it's kind of fun. It's not the best, but it has attack speed and crit hit, so I can't really complain about that. I might enchant the gold off or enchant the vid off to try to get a trifecta here, but as it stands, I don't have a lot of the whatever that legendary mat is yet. And then boots, real simple. Fire bats boost, movement speed, whatever. I was really lucky to get this. This is very good mojo. The damage boost is great. The int is great. Vit's great. And then max crit, which is the most important. And since we use piranhas, it helps our damage with that. I used to have extra XP on this, but then I re-enchanted to max mana to counterbalance a little bit of mana issues that were going on. And again, the health and potions grants, 17,000 is awesome. My favorite weapon that I've found so far in Reaper is this guy, Sky Splitter. Now, he had a bunch of Vit on him, 700 some, but I was lucky enough to re-enchant him into a socket, which is beautiful. The Smite, actually, the 15% to Smite is useful too. I don't see that happen very often, but when it does, it really nukes. So it's pretty good. But definitely put a big fat ruby in there or a big fat emerald. You'll get a lot of damage for socketing. You don't really need vid. Say you get one of these with vid and maybe a little bit higher attack speed. You definitely want to enchant the Vit away, dealing as much damage as possible because all the rest of your gear, you're getting all the sustainability from here. Make sure you can get your damage out. But yeah, so that's really the build. Was a little longer than I had anticipated talking, but I'll show you a couple more things down here. These two rings, pretty awesome. Band of Untold Secrets is very good if you want to replace the Huge Stone for more damage situations. Pretty good. It gives you movement speed. And then this guy's more of a tanky ring too. I initially used the Huge Stone, or I'm sorry, this one, the Eternal Union, and then I took out the Eternal for the Huge Stone just because of that extra, that bonus ability that it gives you. But 20% life on this Union is beautiful. Gives you a lot of life per second, lightning resist, that kind of stuff. But yeah, anyway, so that's that effectively. And that's me signing off, guys. Take care.